You know, right now I think these are facts just sort of statewide. As you know, we've got 36,000 school buses in the state. A third are pre-1990 models. And those pre-1990 models emit 60 times as much pollution as our 2007 standards. Right now, we only have about 1,500 propane buses in only about 35 school districts of the, more than thousands of school buses and school districts that are out there. And 1,100 or 77% of the propane buses that are in the inventory of districts are located in the TURP non-attainment or TURP eligible counties. And I think that for me, there's sort of three basic reasons why one might make the decision to use propane. And I think they sort of come down, I call them sort of each to the third. You know, one's going to be environmental, the other's going to be economic, and the third one's going to be that it positively impacts on our national energy security. Studies will say that these propane buses will cut emissions by 83 to 99%. First year of cost savings can be up to $25,000 per bus, and I'll walk through how we got to that $25,000. Propane is 90% domestic, and I'll even say propane is 90% Texas, as opposed to domestic. It comes from right here in Texas, and that's good for our economy. In terms of the oil savings, research analysis that has been done, not simply by the commission, but by PERC as well. Typical propane school bus backs out about 60 barrels of diesel per year. Replacing the pre-1990 buses with propane would save more than 700,000 barrels a year. And replacing all diesel buses with propane would save about 2.1 million barrels a year. This is a chart that is designed to sort of tell you how we got to where we think the savings are. But there is a disparity in the cost. I'm going to talk about that second line, that Railroad Commission grant, that can be up to about $30,000. And you see the fuel costs, and obviously there's a disparity. Propane today is cheaper than diesel. There is a fuel tax credit that I'll talk about, and then there is, as we're seeing, a lower maintenance cost, which means that the first year cost on the propane bus, on average, is anticipated to be around $58,000, and on the diesel bus about $81,000. I'd love to hear. We get these numbers for the most part just from Alvin ISD and other school districts. Alvin ISD is obviously running a number of propane buses, and we're using, obviously, in terms of propane, the information they provide. And we'll walk through many of those individual items. In terms of air quality, EPA has done this analysis, and so we're just simply reporting to you what EPA has told us. In terms of NOx, it's a 96% reduction over the 1989 buses. Remember, one of the areas where perhaps one might look to begin the conversion of the replacement would be in those pre-1990 propane buses. There are about 12,000, 13,000, I guess, out on the road today. Come on in. It's light change. Air quality benefits is sort of a 93% reduction in terms of VOCs. In terms of carbon monoxide, about 83% reduction. In terms of PM, by 99.99% reduction. So those are the environmental benefits. What I'd like to do now is sort of talk about the four principal federal and state incentives. The four of them we have as a propane vehicle initiative that the Commission has, and then there are three initiatives at the federal level. One relates to the purchase of the bus, one relates to the purchase of fuel, and one relates to the installation of the infrastructure. We at the Commission get a grant from TCEQ, Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, in the amount of about $12 million that we can use in order to provide funds to districts so that you can make these purchases. The rules that we use are rules that come from TCEQ. But one difference is TCEQ, there is a time period in which you have to make the application. With us, you can make the application year-round, And in addition to that, we'd like to think that our process is a little bit easier. Right now, we've got 34 counties that are TURP eligible. We happen to be in a TURP eligible county, but only 8 of those counties that are TURP eligible are their propane buses. So I think the opportunity is fairly broad and fairly large for us to be able to do something. In terms of the eligibility, one of the requirements is it can only be for replacement buses, so it's to replace an existing diesel bus, but it cannot be the expanded fleet. The bus being replaced must be registered and certified operational by a Railroad Commission licensee, which means our folks have to go out there and look at it and make the determination that you haven't taken one that's off in the junk pile somewhere that hadn't been used in a while, and you're replacing that, which would have to have been an operational bus thereby, so the state can get those NOx and other reductions. The old bus must have been owned and operated in Texas for the 2 years immediately preceding, and that is a requirement from TCEQ, so that somebody doesn't go in and bring in a bus from Oklahoma, let's say, and say it's part of the fleet, and then get the dollars in order to convert it. And then the new bus must be an EPA and CARB certified. The old bus, under the TCEQ rules, the ones that we have to abide by, the old bus has to be scrapped, which means we won't be able to turn around and sell it to the church or to Mexico or somewhere else. Obviously, the idea is to reduce those emissions. The new bus, you must operate the new bus for 7 years, and it can only be operated in that eligible county, that TURP county.